Would you buy a Citroen Ami if it was just £20 a month? Citroen UK have just released their finance offers for the Citroen Ami after giving us the pricing a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to talk about car finance in this video, but absolutely nothing here should be portrayed as financial advice. I mean, if you're taking financial advice from YouTube, you need to give your head a wobble anyway, but I'm definitely not qualified to advise you on anything financial whatsoever. I'm just going to present to you the information about what's available, and it would very much be up to you to do your own research to work out if it was suitable for you. They've also just started converting some of the early reservations into orders, and I have some exciting news for you. I have placed the first actual UK order for an Ami. I know it was the first order because someone from the team at Citroen UK called me pretty much straight away and confirmed as much almost as soon as I'd submitted the order online. Maybe I was a little bit too keen to give them my money, who knows? More about my order later on in the video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing so that it's a little bit easier for me to live with the consequences of my no doubt stupid actions. And for everyone, definitely click that like button to convince YouTube that this video is worth watching so I can hopefully at least slightly offset some of my stupid financial decisions. The pricing is £7,695 for the base model with no extras. Add £400 for one of the colour packs. The Ami Pop is £8,495, where you get the orange pack, but also some extra styling details on the bumpers, and of course that all-important spoiler for the downforce, which you'll definitely need with a maximum speed of 28 miles per hour. Range topping is the Ami Vibe at £8,995, which gives you a bit more gloss black trim on the bumpers, gives you some decorative black roof rails and black wheel arch trims. The Ami Cargo is also available for £7,995. As you know, I'm a big fan, and I was sorely tempted by that option since I don't think I'd use it to carry passengers very often. But it's the finance offers that are very interesting. When the Ami was announced in France a couple of years ago, a very big deal was made out of the lease offering there, where you could pay £2 or £3 grand up front and then have a really silly low payment, like €20 a month or something like that. A lot of people seem to be intrigued by this. I mean, it would make for relatively cheap fixed cost motoring after all. And Citroen, I'm pleased to say, have replicated this in the UK, but rather than lease, it's PCP, personal contract purchase. For those not familiar with car finance, this is where you buy the car by borrowing the full amount to pay for it, but a lump sum is deferred until the end of the agreement. This means you'll effectively pay a monthly payment that amounts to roughly the predicted depreciation plus interest, a little bit like you do when you're leasing, but there is an ownership option at the end. When you come to the end of the agreement, you can either pay the final payment, you could part exchange the car and use any difference between what you owe and what it's actually worth as a deposit on another car, or you can hand it back to the finance company and you can walk away. The only caveat to handing the car back is that there will be mileage restrictions and overage charges. So you agree a certain annual mileage and you pay for anything you went over. And they'll charge you for any damage that's beyond fair wear and tear should you return it to the finance company in that way. Exactly the same way you'd be charged if you were leasing it, but a lease doesn't allow you to actually buy the car at any point. It's solely a rental agreement. So the figures for the Ami then, they're saying with a £2,369.45 deposit, that would see you with a monthly payment of £19.99 per month on a 24-month agreement. 2 years seems a little bit short to me, but I'm guessing they've been trying to get to that magic £20 a month figure by breaking at that point because the residual value of the car will be a little bit higher. Extend the term to 36 months with a £2,400 deposit and the monthly payment is £27 per month. But that still seems like reasonably cheap motoring to me. And the best thing about it is it's a PCP, right? So if you come to the end of the agreement and they're selling for a lot more than what your final payment is, perhaps because people can't get a hold of them and they're willing to pay more for a second-hand one, you can sell the car yourself, pay the finance off and keep anything that's left. And that means you'd effectively be getting some of that initial deposit back. And you could have 2 or 3 years of motoring very cheaply indeed. But even if you just amortise the deposit across the term, you're talking about somewhere in the region of £100 a month, which is pretty cheap for motoring at the end of the day. And granted, it's restricted motoring. It's a, 28 mile an hour quadricycle. It's not a proper car, but for the right use case, I think a lot of people are going to buy them in this way, I think. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you buy a car in this way, and would you be interested in an Ami for £20 a month? Of course, I'm sure you could save money by getting a lower interest rate, a loan from your bank, and buying it that way. But the PCP does give you a little bit of protection should the second-hand values fall. If you bought it outright with cash or a bank loan and it ends up being worth a bit less after 2 or 3 years, you're going to take the hit on that personally, rather than being able to just hand it back to the finance company and forget about it. On to my order then. I know you'll all be very eager to hear what I've ordered. I've placed an order for the Ami Orange. I was really tempted by the cargo, but I think the passenger carrying version will be more desirable for the resale market. The Ami cargo is great for businesses, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic thing, but I want to be sure that I've bought something that I could get out of should I need to in the future. I've not opted for the finance option in this case, but only because I'm going to be applying for a mortgage fairly shortly, and I can do without a car finance agreement on my credit file. The PCP deal was very tempting, but it just isn't quite right for my current circumstances. And why did I spend £400 on the add-ons for the Orange rather than the base model? Well, simply I think it'll give me the opportunity to bring you more content about it. I'm sure you'll all be very interested in watching me unbox some wheel trims, given the options are all DIY install. It doesn't come with any of the Orange stuff fitted, you just get a big box of stuff and you need to fit it all yourself. Deliveries are currently expected in September. I'm kind of hoping it's a little bit earlier than that, but time will tell. If you don't live near a Citroen dealer, or don't fancy travelling home from your nearest Citroen dealer, you can arrange delivery, but it's an extra £395. I'm sure Citroen are charging that because they'll be arranging delivery from a central point, probably from the docks, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense for me at all. The nearest dealer is 15 miles away, although the journey home could be really quite interesting. It's 15 miles of mostly national speed limit roads. I might die, might not, we'll see how it goes. Orders are only currently open to those who have placed a reservation previously, and as far as I know, they're working through them in order, sending so many emails a day. So you might need to wait a little bit if you were a bit late to the party. They're looking to open up orders to everybody once those that have made reservations have had their chance to either order or cancel their reservation. A point to note, if you're looking to convert your reservation to an order like I have, you need to pay a £500 deposit in order to do so, and that previous £250 reservation deposit you paid is not included in that. They're going to refund that to you after the order is placed, and they're treating them like completely separate transactions. I asked that they make this a little bit clearer during the order process, because when I did it, it didn't mention it at all, and hopefully they'll take my feedback on board. They certainly seemed very keen to get as much feedback as they could to make this process as smooth for everybody as possible. And if you go to place an order, definitely let me know if they've updated that for you. So there you go, the Citroen Ami is now available in the UK for as little as £20 a month. And I've ordered one. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sure you're all dying to tell me how stupid I am. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.